grade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. I was listening for the theme song.
Oh, no, it's on there. It already played.
Oh, wow. Thank you very, very much. My name is KUAW. The name of the program is Wave Your Grades. And that theme song is aimed at American students, and the program is aimed at American veterans. And we are blessed on Wave Your Grades to help those who are serving and who have served to know that there are serious students and consistent community activists making this environment, this community positive, powerful, and peaceful. And today's guest, Lucille Douglas, is indeed indicative of the kind of consistent community activism of which we are so proud. And I get the opportunity on this occasion to introduce the Banneker School Foundation chairperson, Lucille Douglas, and I'm sure she carries more titles than that. But for purposes of this afternoon's program, thank you for being here, and good afternoon, Lucille Douglas.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for this opportunity for Banneker.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is our opportunity, it is our honor. One of the things that we impress upon young people is you can often observe and evaluate a person's character by their consistency. It is the Banneker School Foundation, and how long have efforts been made in Parkville to do what you do? And as you answer that, please tell us what you do.
Well, thank you. Our efforts began when my mother, in conversations with archaeologist Jimmy Johnson, discovered that what we knew as Miss Emma's house was the original Banneker School, built in 1885 for educating the children of the freed and enslaved people in the surrounding Platte County area. That effort, she was determined to save it from being demolished. And now we have most of the outside restored and are working to raise funds to complete the restoration so we can have this facility, this building, to help people get in touch with the past and maintain the presence of the freed families that lived in Parkville and the area.
Now, this is so very important. One of the things that occurred to me when I looked just at the name Benjamin Banneker, if we were to research Washington, D.C., we would see some history, Benjamin Banneker.
That's right.
When I returned from Arizona in 2010, I started teaching at Benjamin Banneker Charter Academy of Technology. And one of my fraternity brothers asked me to come and do some community work at Benjamin Banneker Elementary School on 60th and Askew. There are many tributes to Benjamin Banneker, but this particular tribute discusses it as an historic site. Why this particular edifice being an historic site?
At this point, it is one of the few remaining buildings in the country and is on the historic register, the National Historic Register, Register of Historic Places. And that effort also was accomplished by my mother and the community at that time to make sure that we preserved this building.
Now, one of the things that occurs to so many of us is recent events. Parkville High School, that were not positive. As a matter of fact, my understanding is that there were some young people who allegedly or in fact had a petition that wanted to revise slavery, probably not literally, but certainly as an insult to the Black population. So somebody would say, you live in Parkville, let us ask Lucille Douglas to talk about what is not only positive about Parkville, but the reaction that you get from educators and students when you teach them about Benjamin Banneker.
Well, for instance, we last weekend we were at the Northland Ethnic Festival at Staley High School, yes. And that high school is principaled by the first Black principal in the Park Hill School District, Larry Smith. He is now principal at Staley High School in the North Kansas City School District. Plaza Middle School that he left is now principaled by one of our board members, Dr. Adrian Singletary.
All right.
Who is the second Black principal in the Park Hill School District. And there are still people when we present at the Ethnic Festival every year that we do present, who still live in Parkville and do not know about the existence of this building on 8th and West Street that has a very weathered sign that says Banneker School. It is right on, the sign is right on the street. And we have a much larger sign in the yard of the school. But it, of all things, what I have come to understand from assisting in developing the content for the history of the airport land in the new airport that will be opened in 2023. What I have come to understand is we must establish our history as a people, because my God, look what we've been through. We must be amazing people.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as a matter of fact, it's interesting you mentioned the airport. I had the occasion at one point in my travels of doing 65 to 80 trips a year. And in as much as at the time, I often used Delta Airlines, that meant I often had connecting flights in Atlanta. And when I look at the airport that Maynard Jackson fashioned, and how proud I am when I look at the number of kiosks and businesses and even architecture at the airport when I'm going through Atlanta, it makes me mindful of how conscientious we must be in this community to call upon Lucille Douglas when they're talking about the airport.
Well, the history of aviation, it has been promoted and is prominent and can be accessed anywhere. But the actual history of the land, ooh, and even the history of the families who were removed from the land, going all the way back to ancient tribal people, we're talking about 2500 BC, and that were authenticated through the Smithsonian Institute archaeological digs before 1920, that these civilizations lived here. And I was educated in the Park Hill School District. I never heard one word about them.
Wow. This is so important. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say crucial I'll tell you what I did not do before you and I began to talk. I ordinarily begin the program calling upon Louis George Walker to help all of those who join us know the various ways, not only that they can be with us live, but also how they can access this and other programs on KUAW.org later on. So, Lucille Douglas, if you will allow me, let me call upon Louis George Walker to inform access to Wave Your Grades.
All right. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Carl. I appreciate that. I'd like to let everyone know if you're listening to us on our audio side, which is on TuneIn Radio, on MyTuner Radio, on Get Me Radio, or the online radio bot, you're picking up the audio side of KUAW. If you have a smart speaker like that Google or Amazon, tell it to play KUAW and you'll get us. Or on our website, www.kuaw.org, you'll see some player buttons to your right-hand side. Push either one of those 4 or 5 player buttons, it will start playing this show. But if you want to get the full enjoyment and be able to see the people that are on the show right now, Miss Lucille Douglas, Mr. Carl Boyd, go to our Facebook page, KUAW-radio, or go to our YouTube page, KUAW Space Radio. Either one of those, you can see it live. And after this show is over, it will still be posted in about 15 minutes. So you'll be able to see this today. Share it with your friends and neighbors. So like and share and subscribe to our page on YouTube. Thank you. And that's how we get in touch with each other. Back to Mr. Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much. Louis George Walker, by the way, founder of KUAW.org. And we so appreciate this opportunity as we go back to Lucille Douglas, chairperson, Banneker School Foundation. Now, Lucille Douglas, this is something that has occurred to me listening to you talk. When you talk about your own mother, you talk about your own ancestry, there would be people who would say she didn't have a chance. She had to do this. I must suspect that young Lucille Douglas had perhaps many interests. How did you really focus on this, not just from a familial perspective, but this seems to me to be your passion? How did that happen to young Lucille?
Well, the story goes like this. I did not participate as my mother would have liked in her pursuits for this amazing discovery that she made and the monumental things that she did for us to even have what we have now. And I often tell people, I was just recently given an award from the Liberty Martin Luther King Jr. Program,
Congratulations.
birthday celebration program.
Yes.
And I tell everybody, I inherited this achievement, this community achievement.
Yes.
I inherited that. I did not earn it. I continued to work in it because I was told by one of my elders when my mother passed in 2003, just before she passed, 2 of her students are at the young people who were young people in our community. Nearly all of us have left Parkville, but have Parkville in our hearts.
Yes.
Marva Williams and Daisy Young came up to see Mama after she had recovered from a stroke. She asked them to carry on the restoration to completion, and they both agreed to do that. In 2010, Marva Williams tapped me on the shoulder figuratively and said, "You need to come to the breakfast." So I went to my first Banneker breakfast, at which later on, Mr. Boyd was one of our featured and spectacular speakers for the annual breakfast event. And from that time on, Marva compelled me to begin to attend foundation meetings. Daisy said, "Lucille, I need you on the board to help carry this forward." And she gave me a particular task, which I am so grateful to God and to the host of witnesses, the cloud of witnesses, as scripture says, that we have some oral history from the then elders. All but one has passed on now. Wow. And I'm grateful we have that legacy. But I was doing what I was told to do by my elder, Marva, who was doing what she was told to do by her elder, my mother.
Well, I'll tell you, there are many people who inherit positions who do not have the kind of passion for that inheritance that you have, which is greatly appreciated. And as you mentioned, some of the other people who are involved, will you please let us know what's coming up and how we can contact and support the efforts of the Banneker School Foundation?
Give me just a minute so I can pull up.
All right, and we are once again on Wave Your Grades every Saturday, 1 until 2 p.m. Today, Saturday, April 30th, our very special guest, Lucille Douglas, Chairperson, Banneker School Foundation. Please. Okay,
at this point in the restoration, as I mentioned before, we want to move toward the completion, which is a monumental fundraising effort to secure that building for the next, 140 going on 50 years. Wow. And if somebody has that exact number, then please let us know. But we're going to start with a membership drive June 18th, 2020, which is during the National Juneteenth celebration.
Oh, that's right, yes.
And so we're going to do membership recruitment. Wow. And we're starting so that we can continue to develop the foundation to support the restoration. Mm-hmm. And that will be at the English Landing Park in Parkville, Missouri at noon to 3 o'clock to 3 p.m. And people will be able to get a membership and also be able to purchase a brick on the building. Yes. To restore the building. On that day, your base membership with the purchase of a brick, your membership will only be $25 that day. A brick purchase is $100, and the base membership is $25 with the purchase of a brick. But that we have also launched our Facebook page, our website, mm-hmm. Banneker School, Parkville, Missouri, parkvillemo.org. And I'm very proud of the the website that we have, and we've gotten volunteer help to get the website so that it is user friendly. And that's the main thing that we have insisted on, because nobody's going to look for the information they want if they have to go through a bunch of pages.
You're talking to someone who understands what you are saying.
We are also going to in September, we're going to have a soft launch of our Buy a Brick campaign. And it will involve taking a walk in what is called Historic Parkville, which has been a feature of the Parkville Chamber of Commerce for years. Now, with the completion of the building or the continued restoration of the building, Banneker will now be a part of that historic walk. Washington Chapel CME Church, Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, formerly Colored Methodist Episcopal Church, has always been a part of the Banneker, of the Parkville Historic Walk. And so the historic walk we would like to have in September will take people through the historic Parkville, including Banneker. We will end up at Bruce Watkins Park, which is down the street from the Banneker School.
Watkins, I did not realize that.
Bruce Watkins, his mother, Olivia, and their family have their origins in Parkville. Wow. And at the airport land. Their enslaved ancestors were brought to Platte County lived on the Hughes farm on the airport land.
Do you know Orly McKenzie?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She is phenomenal and is intent on getting this untold history told and exhibited. And that she is the reason Banneker and the descendants of the enslaved people of Platte County are featured in the airport exhibit.
This is absolutely wonderful in so many ways. I have Banneker School ParkvilleMo.org, and that will be the website.
Yes.
Now, is there any other way if I want to become active, if I want to volunteer or support, any addresses that I should record?
Anybody who is on Facebook can go to our Facebook page, which is Banneker School Foundation and Historic Site, and message. I get alerts on messages from both the Facebook page and the website. So we welcome anyone who wants to reach out to us in order to become a part of this historic mission to preserve our history.
Now, I cannot express adequately how appreciative we are for your allowing us to be a part of things that are currently happening and things that indeed are getting ready to happen. Millis Doc Bass. And Brother Louis George Walker has heard me say this over and over again, because I use his statement, his quote. It's very brief. Millis Doc Bass talks about the relevance of intelligence And I always refer to that in saying research has let us know that young people tend to learn better and retain longer that which is relevant to them. So that when the Banneker School Foundation takes the information to the young people and allows them to be a part, they have to learn better and retain longer. Someone with youth organizations, educational organizations who want to be a part, is there any particular role you would want young people to play as students or the educators in motivating the students?
Well, we are connected with Orly Watkins McKenzie and
Good.
her drive for developing youth advisories in order to begin to give young people a place and for them to value themselves and learn. When we learn who we are, then we know we have the confidence in going forward with where we're supposed to go. And as they always say, if you know your history and you learn it, then you don't repeat the mistakes of history. And those are some of the things that hopefully young people will learn and know that things can be done. They need to learn that the Pearl family in Platte County established their future in 1882, I believe, is the date that Mr. Pearl bought the acreage that they continue to farm to this day. And that beginning has allowed their family to prosper and contribute to the economy of Platte County.
Now, I had thought in terms of something that we used to say when I was growing up, rather smugly, and we meant it at the time. It's a black thing, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But now I find myself saying it's a black thing, and those who give a hand, because it is not in the instance of the Benjamin Banneker effort exclusively the domain of Black people in America. But when you look at the layout of Washington, D.C., and Benjamin Banneker was working with a Frenchman, L'Enfant.
Right.
And when Benjamin Banneker wanted to protest mistreatment, then Thomas Jefferson was the Secretary of State before he became the president, a white gentleman. And it is very important. Again, I should not continue to bring it up, but in as much as there was something that happened socially of a race nature. Lucille Douglas, can you please impress upon us the importance of this being multicultural and diverse, not only in its support, but in its activism and education?
From my own personal experience, when growing up, I always felt like an outsider in Parkville because my mother was from Texas, my father was from Illinois. They moved to Parkville to become, my father was the teacher principal, Frank S. Douglas, at Banneker School. And then when he went off to World War II, my mother became the teacher at Banneker School. And so the young people, although I was born in Parkville, Missouri, the young people I grew up with were all cousins. And I had always had this feeling that I was not related. And so now I know, after studying youth development, the feeling, what they say now is I didn't have a feeling of belonging. And so as I accepted the fact, I went to Banneker School, so we are a Banneker family. I no longer have that feeling. I feel like I belong. And I would announce whenever I was given an opportunity to speak at the Banneker breakfast, I always told anybody who embraces the mission of preserving the Banneker School it belongs to the Banneker family. And yes, we are a diverse board, and in our diversity, since I have gotten knowledge and information about the land that we occupy, we always acknowledge that we are on land that was previously lived on by other peoples and nations, especially those tribal people who were pushed out of the land with the Platte Purchase Treaty. So our diversity goes beyond the color of our skin, and it goes to the intent of our hearts.
Ooh, thank you for saying that. That is so important. I would like to find out your dad's name, if I might.
Frank Scott Douglas. He was a second lieutenant in World War II. He studied German, the German language and culture in Officer Candidate School in Fargo, North Dakota, I think, was where he was sent. And thinking where he wanted to go was Germany. But he got sent to Saipan in the South Pacific to a prison camp. And that's where his, what do you call it? That's where he was sent to with American troops.
That's where he was deployed.
Yes, that was where he was deployed, was to Saipan.
Now,
in the South Pacific.
Did you say Frank Scott Douglas?
Yes.
And let me tell you two reasons I asked. One is because, as I mentioned at the top of the program is dedicated to veterans, those who serve and those who have served.
Thank you.
Now, the second reason I asked is, and I should have made this disclaimer up front, I am a civilian. My oldest brother was a Marine. My next oldest brother was an airman, and the one next to me was a soldier. And they made it possible for me to be the first in my family to graduate from college. Therefore, I owe them a debt of gratitude and more for making it possible for me to go to school. And I am able, as a matter of fact, I am a member of BFW Auxiliary from the Grandview Post 8100. Although I am a civilian, because my brother served in Korea, which is a foreign war, I am allowed to be a member of the VFW Auxiliary. So now I'm a life member. But in addition to that, Debbie Austin is with Gold Star Moms. She has been a frequent visitor on the Wave Your Grades program. And I would like to offer your dad's name as they get ready in the month of November to pay tribute to all of those who serve when they do wreaths around the nation. So.
Oh, and and I'll connect with you afterwards, because I recently discovered the my uncles, his brothers, who
Yes.
served in World War I, were a part of the, I can't remember the name of it, but it is a special grant at Park University to discover the undisclosed
Yes.
minorities who should have been honored with the Medal of Honor. I can't remember the name of the grant, but they discovered, when I discovered my uncle was in World War I immediately contacted Dr. Tim Westcott, and he
Yes.
sent me back all of my uncle's information, which means he already had it. So there I will be happy to help get that all connected, because so many people in Parkville served in those earlier conflicts, and no one has given them credit for our acknowledgement of their service to the country.
And that is absolutely imperative.
Yes, it is.
And as we have heard in recent days, that there has been some attention paid to the Tuskegee Airmen. And I have been blessed to have on the program Buffalo Soldiers.
Oh.
And the regiment of Black nurses. Oh, as a matter of fact, there was a regiment of Black females responsible for the postal services, making sure that the communications from home got to those soldiers in wartime. And there are a number of things like that. And here again, Lucille Douglas and Carl Boyd will have us to know that while there has been that omission, there has been omission where Native Americans are concerned, where some Hispanics are concerned, where others are concerned. And we would like to be a part of a movement that says, not only is there opportunity for us to show ourselves in unity in the United States of America, we are in the throes of a period of time when it is absolutely imperative that we find ways to come together and to cite and pay tribute to those who are deserving.
And we have assistance with the preservation of that history and the information to access our history. And that was one of the things I'm very grateful for Orly McKenzie and Dr. Eugene Chavez, who is the resident historian at the Kansas City Museum. I'm so grateful to them for the opportunity to just touch that history that I didn't know. I was able to discover my enslaved ancestor that went to Illinois with the Illinois Union Army. And Banneker will be a part of the mission for people to be able to discover their ancestry and to honor it.
This is so wonderful. And it is wonderful because while singularly we celebrate the Benjamin Banneker Foundation, it really opens the doors for so much discovery and so much cooperation.
Absolutely.
Let me remind those who are with us, Lucille Douglas is our very special guest, Banneker School Foundation chairperson. And once again, Lucille Douglas, contact information and an announcement for the June 18th event, if you would, please.
Okay, you can reach us with comments on Facebook, our Facebook page, Banneker School Foundation and Historical Site, Parkville, Missouri, and on our website. We can get messages from uh, Banneker School, parkvillemo.org. Anything that you have, and I am just amazed at people who make a connection and want to keep connections going in order for us to know who we are.
When I think about the refurbishing of the building, and when I think about all of the efforts that are going on now, as it relates to, for instance, the Buy a Brick campaign, can those who are interested, as a matter of fact, I suspect after hearing you, are excited about it, for instance, conduct a field trip even now to just go by and view the site, even though they would not be able to visit within, obviously, but are there groups doing that even now?
We don't have organized groups, but we do constantly give out the address for the school. It is 31 West 8th Street in Parkville, Missouri. There are 3 streets in Parkville: East Street, Main Street, and West Street. And you cross East Street to the dead end on Main Street, and you make a left turn to get on FF Highway, which will take you to West Street. The Banneker School can be seen from West Street.
Oh.
I encourage anyone who, if you find yourself in the area, just drive by and then hit us up on Facebook and let us know into the comments or of a post. Let us know you've come by. I would like to also invite everyone to come to the membership recruitment on June 18th. If you can't make it, then memberships can be purchased on our website, as well as the early bird purchase buy brick and that way your reduced membership is $125. Now you get the brick and your membership. You can attend meetings. We're creating a database so that all of our information will go out to whoever has a membership.
This is so wonderful. It appeared that someone was vying for your attention. You and I thought that we might talk for 15 minutes or so, but I knew that if you would allow me to impose upon you, that I would want you to talk longer. So you have really been patient.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I am doing a dual purpose.
Yes.
This afternoon. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and we will keep in touch.
We better, because this is absolutely exciting. Thank you so very, very much, Lucille Douglas, Banneker School Foundation Chair. Thank you for Wave Your Grades. Coming back to this program, and I mean, it's just, Brother Walker, exciting from my perspective. And let me give you, before I go into the daily messages that I have, but let me tell you something that Lucille Douglas led me to. This Benjamin Banneker School Foundation is located in Parkville. You might remember that the last time, I think that it was Lucille Douglas or someone from Parkville was on the program, I mentioned that I work with Synergy Services, which is headquartered at the university. Now, in addition to that, what was so delightful in this particular conversation, when we brought up Ora Lee Watkins McKenzie, a young historian, is the fact that when I am working with the young people ages 12 to 20 at the Youth Resiliency Center with Synergy Services, when I conduct my group with the young people, the title that we use for my interaction is Teach Me You. You might remember that, but if not, that is the title that I use because of the perspective that young people have. We have to be proud of and thankful for the Orleans of the world because young people are offering a fresh perspective to the history that we have studied and in some cases attempted to study. And now we have those fresh eyes, those fresh ears, and fresh presentations. So we must say thank you, thank you, thank you to Lucille Douglas for
Most definitely.
representing the Banneker School Foundation. Any messages that you wanted to give?
No, we didn't have any messages right now, but just want to remind people that this interview that you just saw, which is a great interview, will be
Thank you.
archived and you can view it again on Facebook and YouTube. We'll have that there. You go to those pages, look in the archives for Wave Your Grades or playlist for Wave Your Grades, and you'll be able to view that again.
This is so good. And please remember the website, Banneker School Parkville.mo.org. Banneker School Parkville.mo.org. And Brother Walker, what I want to do is go to the morning messages. And of course, I will read the one for Saturday, April 30th. But as I do that, I wanted to mention to our followers in some cases, but our listeners and viewers today is to say to you that we have made these daily messages, of which there are 366, so that we can account for leap year, 366, a message every day for students in honor of our troops. And if that book is available just to hold up, or is that the way we do it? Or is it already up? And I'm
It's
not
up there.
seeing
It's
it?
up there.
Is that right? Okay. Going back to Lucille Douglas and our conversation about technology today, the reason that I wanted to just have that book available to be seen is because I have had now several organizations. As a matter of fact, I don't know that individuals have requested the book for themselves. Certainly in most cases, it has been for a group of students, in one case, a group of adults. But if you are interested in these 366 messages from Wave Your Grades, you may contact Carl Boyd, you may contact me at stootsforboots@gmail.com. stootsforboots@gmail.com. Stoots is spelled STOOTS, for FOR, boots, BOOTS, Stoots for Boots at gmail.com. And by the way, just in case there's someone who wonders about Stoots for Boots, Stoots is short for students, but it is indeed an acronym as well. And the acronym stands for Students Theater of Operations, the school. That's what Stoots stands for. So stootsforboots@gmail.com. Did I say .org? It is stootsforboots@gmail.com, in case I did not say that correctly. But at any rate, the first 7 people who ask for that request, I will send you a free 366 message book. stootsforboots@gmail.com. First 7 free. And this is how these messages go. A, for instance, this is today's message. This is what is being read in that book. To students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, April 30th. Laying down one's life for others is a duty heroes seek. It's a duty that helps students to see that love never makes one weak. To students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, April 30th. Laying down one's life for others is a duty heroes seek. It's a duty that helps students to see that love never makes one weak. The Stoots for Boots program is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and it is organized to act upon student motivation. Back to Doc, the relevance of intelligence. If you don't have another reason to be motivated towards excellence, we want you to think about those who have made sacrifices in order to make it possible for you to go to school, in order to make it possible for you to take advantage of a full scholarship. We believe that this incentive to honor those who have served and are serving would cause our young people in secondary school to make up their minds to be excellent. This is not today's message, but I have one message that says American students should not allow American troops to help a nation where their students are outperforming our own. When you think about that, that's almost illogical. That America's superiority would be requested militarily, but academically, they don't need us. We need to do a lot better than that. And in the throes of an era where there is a question about academic curricula, we really need not only the students, but we need all stakeholders in education to understand how important truth being taught for now and for history is. Again, to those who have served for our freedoms, and we need to honor them with excellence and truth. My name is Carl Boyd on Wave Your Grades. A huge thank you to Lucille Douglas, today's guest, who is indeed the chairperson, the Banneker School Foundation. Looking forward to the opportunity to be with you again next week. And Brother Walker, as you know, that's the first Saturday of the month. So that will be the Smart Club next Saturday. And Louis George Walker, founder, KUAW.org, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. To all of you and to those to whom we reach out, my name is Carl Boyd. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda, I'm on my way home. Wave your grades, a grade fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please